new global COVID threat. Australia's border closed to southern Africa as a dangerous new variant emerges. A flood crisis across 2 states, dozens rescued from rising floodwaters. Vaccine anger, thousands of so-called freedom protesters take to the streets. And tributes to a Broadway legend, composer Stephen Sondheim dies aged 91.
This is 7 News with Sally Ballard.
Good afternoon. Australia is wasting no time closing the border to parts of Africa after the emergence of a new COVID super variant. Scientists say the mutated strain called Omicron could be more transmissible than Delta, but the big fear is it may be resistant to current vaccines. Tegan Doling is in London, where officials are scrambling to get ahead of the virus.
Well, COVID has again grounded flights across the country. Here in the UK, flights have been banned to and from 6 countries in South Africa. Parts of Europe, including Germany, Italy and Israel, have also imposed travel restrictions, as has Canada. And the US will be making similar changes on Monday as President Joe Biden encourages Americans to get their booster shots. Now, this is all because of the new variant known as Omicron. It's already seeped into Europe. In Belgium, an unvaccinated passenger from Egypt developed mild symptoms 11 days after their return, prompting the grounding of flights.
Early indications show this variant may be more transmissible than the Delta variant, and current vaccines may be less effective against it.
I've decided that we're going to be cautious, make sure there's no travel to and from South Africa and 6 other countries in that region.
It's also hit the stock market. Mounting concerns have caused travel and entertainment stocks, as well as oil prices, to be hit hard. And although the World Health Organization is warning against overreaction, the company behind Pfizer will spend the next couple of weeks researching the variant and if they'll need to, in fact, adapt their vaccine.
And political reporter Jennifer Beshwati is in Canberra for us. Jen, the Australian government isn't taking any chances.
Well, the federal government has taken emergency precautionary border security measures to try and stop the spread as more data is gathered on the new variant. 5 new rules take effect immediately. Non-Australian citizens who have been in African countries where the Omicron variant is spreading will not be able to enter Australia.
These countries are South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Lesotho, Eswatini, the Seychelles, Malawi and Mozambique.
Australian citizens and residents arriving from these countries will need to go into 14 days quarantine. That includes international students, migrants and those from travel bubble countries. Anyone currently in Australia who has been to one of those 9 high-risk countries must immediately isolate. As well, flights from those countries will be suspended for 2 weeks.
We can move at any time to strengthen or to reduce these requirements based on the medical evidence.
There are currently no known cases of the Omicron variant in Australia, and less than 100 people have recently returned from South Africa. The country's top doctor is confident that our massive vaccination rate will provide much needed protection.
South Africa has less than 30% of vaccine coverage. It's a very different situation to here. South Africa, unfortunately, has a very high rate of HIV and, in fact, AIDS.
The expert health panel will hold daily meetings as they monitor the situation very closely.
Thank you, Jen. Parts of southeast Queensland have been hit by flash flooding after more than a month's worth of rain fell in an hour. 9 people, including a newborn baby, had to be rescued from floodwaters. Anna McGrath has more.
Good afternoon. Well, the Bremer River here near Ipswich is bursting at the seams, and many other parts of Queensland are now on flood watch after a major downpour in the southeastern part of the state overnight. Around 126 millimetres of rain was recorded around Laidley near Ipswich. A number of roads have been cut off, leaving many residents stranded in their homes.
Yeah, it pelted down, I think it was probably about 9:30.
Police and SES have also reported a high number of floodwater rescues across the southeast overnight. The Grandchester pub car park became a creek after yesterday afternoon's storm, with almost 200 millimetres of rain dumped on that area.
I haven't seen as much water like this before.
And that's actually its heaviest November rain, daily November rain, since pre-1972.
Residents in Beaudesert are now being warned to prepare ahead, with the Logan River now overflowing. More than 100 millimetres of rain fell in surrounding catchments there in the last 24 hours. More rain and thunderstorms are expected over the weekend, but Queenslanders can expect a small reprieve tomorrow morning.
We are going to see things, at least that humidity, stick around for the next few days as well, and potentially build again during Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
The Bureau is predicting that the rain will last until at least Wednesday next week, with many concerns tonight that rivers will continue rising.
Meanwhile, parts of New South Wales are also facing a flood crisis, with hundreds of people calling the SES for help. The Upper Hunter is on high alert this evening. Isabel Mullen is there.
Well, here in Denham, the main road to Muswellbrook is cut, the Golden Highway flooded. It's a spectacle for residents who have grown accustomed to the drought. On the Sandy Creek this afternoon, a beer between friends, celebrating the sight of rain, no matter the amount.
We've been having a drink on the levee bar, the levee bank. It's a different view for us, so it's good.
The Hunter River peaked at 10.2 metres at 2:30 this afternoon, causing moderate flooding at Muswellbrook and Denman.
Never seen it like this before. Can't get to Muswellbrook, we're all pretty much flooded in, but that's okay. We'll survive.
25 kilometres southwest of Taree, a land cruiser was swept from a causeway by rising floodwaters at Burrell Creek. A 65-year-old man and the two people who tried to help him rescued by police.
We've had over 34 flood rescues in the last 24 hours. That is way too many.
Near Canowindra, a section of Nyrane Creek Bridge washed away. The driver and the passengers of this car taken to hospital. They weren't injured. The SES has had 550 requests for assistance.
Across the state at the moment, everything's very, very wet. Rivers are full, dams are full. The ground is saturated.
Singleton is bracing for major flooding tonight. Maitland is expecting moderate flooding from early tomorrow.
Protesters have again flooded Melbourne's CBD just days before Victoria's controversial pandemic laws are set to be debated in Parliament. As Port Dalsey reports, the demonstration caused major disruptions for Christmas shoppers.
These protesters say they are here standing up for human rights and medical freedoms, and again large numbers have taken to the streets of Melbourne, starting at State Parliament at midday, then snaking their way through the streets to Treasury Gardens. Today is the 5th consecutive Saturday that large protests have been staged at Melbourne's Parliament House. Their messages: stop the vaccine mandates and stop the pandemic bill. They have varying degrees of distrust of government, the media, doctors and science, and they've been outside Parliament non-stop, day and night, for weeks now, sometimes dwindling to very small numbers. But these big organised protests on weekends have attracted plenty of people with concerns about how the government is managing the pandemic.
At the moment, I've got a 12-year-old that's looking at not being able to play community sport over a mandate that's made to make parents feel guilty.
I just believe we should be able to live with freedom the way we always have.
I don't want my children to be forced to have the jab.
Today they were peaceful, except in voice. The government's state of emergency powers expire on December 15, and the Upper House debate on this divisive pandemic bill is set for Tuesday. And with negotiations with the crossbenchers continuing to get it through the Upper House, no doubt there are more protests to come.
And there have been similar protests around the country. In Sydney, thousands marched through the city calling for an end to vaccine mandates. New South Wales Health Minister Brad Hazzard granted unvaccinated protesters an exemption to attend today's rally. On the Gold Coast, Pauline Hanson addressed the crowd.
We want our freedom. We want our choice. It is our choice what we put into our body.
Earlier this week, the One Nation leader failed to introduce a bill to prevent mandatory vaccination policies. Australian troops and police have arrived in the Solomon Islands to help restore order 4 days after rioting broke out after the Prime Minister moved to strengthen ties with China. 3 people have now been killed in the trouble. A curfew and lockdown is currently in place. Broadway is in mourning tonight, with legend composer and songwriter Stephen Sondheim dying at the age of 91. As Tim Lester reports from Los Angeles, he's being remembered as the man behind some of the most beloved musicals of all time.
Stephen Sondheim is widely credited as the Broadway force who reshaped musical theatre in the second half of the 20th century. Now, Broadway is applauding his life.
Oh my God, no more Stephen Sondheim musicals? No more Stephen... Mind-boggling.
On Broadway, he has a theatre named after him, a career that took off when friend and mentor Oscar Hammerstein II pressed a 25-year-old Sondheim to write the lyrics for West Side Story.
Here comes the chest like a bat. How the hell someone gets in our way, someone don't feel so well.
He soon began writing the music too. This 70s hit recorded hundreds of times.
Send in the clowns.
I want to tell stories and write songs and make people laugh, cry, and have a good time and buy tickets.
He would go on to write some of the most celebrated musicals of the era,
I want you so.
including the late 70s hit Sweeney Todd, the tale of a homicidal barber whose customers finish up as filling in meat pies.
Stephen reinvented the American musical.
Among a long list of awards, America's highest civilian honour, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Just this month, Stephen Sondheim turned up to the play that cemented his genius.
Stephen,
Back in April 1970.
the cast of Company dedicate this performance to you.
Today, Broadway is standing in applause for one of its greatest. Stephen Sondheim was 91.
Still to come in 7 News, a new vent opens up on Spain's erupting volcano, sending lava into the path of homes. And the first pieces of a 67 million-year-old puzzle arrive in Australia. That's next.
The Choices Flooring Floors for Living catalogue sale is now on. Creating a healthier home for your family has never been more important. And with savings across a range of carpet, timber, window furnishings, vinyl and rugs, including allergy and asthma-friendly choices, you're sure to find the floor you've been searching for. So visit your nearest Choices Flooring showroom or go online at choicesflooring.com.au and download the Floors for Living catalogue now. Choices Flooring, the floor you've been searching for.
What a cracker! Arnott's Jats, Aussie made and loved.
Ding ding, back in the ring. Silent mode? Yes, please. Hello, my friends, we meet again. Run, you've got this. Yes, yes, smash! I'm the boss! I'm the boss. Yes! Show us what you got! Gotcha! Yay! Fitness, my way.
When you're finally allowed to go out, go all the way out.
We're thinking of grabbing a bite tonight. Any new places close by?
Well, actually... Oh, and there's also...
Oh.
I think 20's enough.
Yeah, that should do us.
It's in all of us.
New South Wales teachers are to go on strike next month. The Teachers Federation voted this morning to walk off the job for 24 hours on December 7, following the stalemate over pay talks and chronic staff shortages.
We are heading into a perfect storm. We have a rapidly ageing teaching service. We have an increase in student enrolments.
When we can provide more support, we will. That's the commitment I've made to the Teachers Federation yesterday.
This is the first strike action by teachers in almost 10 years. There are new warnings for residents in Western Sydney tonight, with the city's main water catchment, Warragamba Dam, overflowing, threatening homes downstream. Tom Hartley is on the Nepean River. Tom, it's deja vu for locals who live there.
Yes, Sally, especially for residents living in flood-prone areas. They're watching the Hawkesbury Nepean slowly come up, and they will tell you they are starting to feel a little bit anxious about this one.
It's a bit concerning, watching the levels come up each day. Yes, wondering what's going to happen.
It was only 7 months ago that there was major flooding through here. Even though only a few mils of rain fell across Sydney and Sydney's west and southwest, there's still a lot of water moving around. I mean, take a look at this. This is the spillway at Warragamba Dam, Sydney's main water source. It's letting go of tons of water a second. A rate of around 80 gigalitres a day, which is just a fraction, just 1/6 of what went downstream in March when communities were flooded. The spill could go on a week, and now the Weather Bureau's warning that it could lead to minor flooding in the Hawkesbury Nepean today into tomorrow, which we're already seeing signs of. And considering there's more rain on the forecast and the ground is already so saturated, locals here know they're in for a few dicey days ahead.
A gunman has opened fire on a bus full of teenagers in Kosovo, killing 3 people and wounding another. A masked man fired at the bus, killing the driver instantly. 2 teens died in hospital. The third is in a stable condition. Officials say they don't believe it was terror-related. Local reports suggest a dispute between 2 rival bus companies could be behind the attack. Incredible pictures of Spain's erupting volcano show a new lava flow moving quickly across the island of La Palma. Scientists say the molten rock is flowing at 600 metres an hour, swallowing homes and trees in its path. The volcano started erupting more than 2 months ago and is showing no sign of letting up. These new drone pictures show the lava surrounding houses as it moves towards the ocean. More than 7,000 people have been evacuated from their homes since the start of the emergency. They're a beloved New York institution and one of the most famous dance troupes in the world. And after COVID pulled the curtain down early last year, the Radio City Rockettes are back with their annual Christmas show. The dancers have been high-kicking across the stage for almost 100 years. A 67-million-year-old dinosaur has become Melbourne's newest resident. The Triceratops was uncovered in Montana 7 years ago and bought by the Melbourne Museum for $3 million. Curators are now painstakingly piecing together its 266 bones to rebuild the 7-metre-wide beast.
To have a skeleton that is 85% complete is something vanishingly rare. The fact that we have it here means we can ask questions about the biology, the life history, the evolution of Triceratops.
The dinosaur will go on display early next year. It's time for sport now with Matt Shirvington and Pat Cummins. Got plenty of high-profile support today.
Yeah, he sure does, Sally. That's right. The new cricket captain has been endorsed by one of the world's best fast bowlers. Details next. Plus, American Nightmare. The Matildas outclassed by the world's best. And racing fans farewell one of the sport's great jockeys.
And then probably retire from there, but we were contemplating.
The Choices Flooring Floors for Living catalogue sale is now on. Creating a healthier home for your family has never been more important. And with savings across a range of carpet, timber, window furnishings, vinyl and rugs, including allergy and asthma-friendly choices, you're sure to find the floor you've been searching for. So visit your nearest Choices Flooring showroom or go online at choicesflooring.com.au and download the Floors for Living catalogue now. Choices Flooring, the floor you've been searching for.
Who is Daniel Johns? Musical genius, probably. Also Peter Pan, maybe?
I think Daniel was one of the last true enigmas of the world. He's like a rare bird.
If you'd asked me if you think this kid's got a future, I would have said no chance in hell.
This is the story of Daniel Johns. In his words, not theirs.
Square can help your business be everywhere at once, with tools that all connect together, so you can stay focused on shaping how you'll do business next.
When you're finally allowed to go out, go all the way out.
Want to get closer to the action? You need NFL Game Pass, the only place to follow your favorite team all season long. Watch every game live and on demand, or catch every touchdown on NFL Red Zone, and so much more. You're in control, wherever you are, whenever you want, all year round. NFL Game Pass. Start your free trial.
Welcome back. On his first official day as Test captain, Pat Cummins has been endorsed by one of Australia's greatest pace bowlers. Glenn McGrath says Cummins can excel if he learns to balance captaincy with why he was picked for Australia in the first place.
Today was a really good hit out, centre wicket, so we're able to simulate match intensity pretty well. We had a big bowl, us bowlers.
While he's bowling, he needs to concentrate 100% on bowling. But then he also has to think about where the game's heading in the field, who's bowling next.
McGrath believes Steve Smith has done his time for Sandpapergate, and experience makes him the obvious choice as vice-captain. The Perth Scorchers and Adelaide Strikers will face off for their maiden women's Big Bash title in tonight's final from Perth. You can watch every ball live here on 7. The Matildas have suffered a heavy loss to world champions the United States in their friendly. In front of a Matildas record 36,109 fans at Stadium Australia, the US didn't even need a minute to stun the home side.
And the worst possible start. 24 seconds on the clock.
The Aussies had their chances, Kaya Simon missing a golden opportunity to equalise as the world champs romped away to a comfortable 3-0 win. Coming in on a 9-game losing streak, Western United were desperate to try anything against Perth Glory, and it took until the final 12 minutes to make a breakthrough.
It's sneaked in, has it? Yes! Dylan Wenzel-Hall's maybe got the final touch. Connor Payne gets the plaudits.
The Green and Black holding on for a 1-0 win, their first of the A-League season, and John Aloisi's first as coach. It's Supercars drivers and fans' favourite time of the year, the Bathurst 1000. After finishing runner-up in last year's race, Cam Waters hopes he can put an unlucky season behind him with a win in the biggest race of all.
A Bathurst win would be phenomenal. It's biggest race of the year. It's the one we all want to win the most for sure. To come so close last year was a little bit bittersweet. So hopefully we can get the sweet stuff this year.
The Bathurst 1000 is on December 5 live on 7. Legendary jockey Glenn Boss couldn't get the farewell he wanted in his final race. The jockey for all three of Makybe Diva's Melbourne Cup triumphs, Boss finished 4th aboard Spanish Mission in the Zipping Classic at Caulfield.
Being in front of this Melbourne crowd and I have my family here. It's just, I want to thank everybody. It's been a wonderful journey.
Fellow jockeys formed a guard of honour to farewell the 52-year-old whose 90 Group 1 wins include 4 Cox Plates and 2 Golden Slippers. An absolute legend. He was a short price favourite to win today. It may have just been the fans getting behind him.
He doesn't have a bad track record, so to speak.
Yeah, not at all. Well
Thanks
done.
for that, Shervo. Still to come in 7 News, we'll take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast right around the country.
The Choices Flooring Floors for Living catalogue sale is now on, with savings across a range of carpet, timber, window furnishings, vinyl and rugs. Visit a Choices Flooring showroom or go online at choicesflooring.com.au and download the Floors for Living catalogue now.
When your business is built on connections, it only gets stronger when your tools connect together too. So you can take payments everywhere and send invoices when you're not actually there. And you can get a loan to help you take your next step. With Square, your business is all connected and all at your fingertips, so you can focus on the connections that matter most.
Who is Daniel Johns? Musical genius, probably. Also Peter Pan, maybe?
I think Daniel's one of the last true enigmas of the world. He's like a rare bird.
If you'd asked me, you think this kid's got a future, I would have said no chance in hell.
This is the story of Daniel Johns. In his words, not theirs.
We're thinking of grabbing a bite tonight. Any new places close by?
Well, actually... And there's also...
Oh.
I think 20's enough.
Yeah, that should do us.
As Australia's specialist insurer, NTI knows what it sounds like to keep Australia moving.
First I thought nothing of it all. It seemed just a passing phase. Then one day I heard the angels.
Time now for a quick check of the weather, and the low is generating strong winds, large waves and showers in New South Wales east, while troughs are causing a few showers and storms across the top end and parts of Queensland. A high is keeping the rest of the country clear. Around the capital cities for tomorrow, a few showers still expected in Brisbane, 26 degrees there. Also wet in Sydney at times, 22. Mostly fine in Canberra, 20 degrees. Sunny skies through Melbourne, Hobart and Adelaide. Another warm one in Perth, 30 degrees the top. And a storm in Darwin, 34 degrees. And that's 7 News for now. Our next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Sally Barry. Thanks for your company.